So welcome everybody. So good to have you all here. A common thought that can arise is, why is this so hard to see? Why is this so hard to see? It sounds like a legitimate question. Do I have any takers? Why is this so hard to see? What do you think?
We're conditioned to see things differently. Well, the way we look, we see separation, we see objects, we see subjects. We're not like in the habit of seeing wholeness.
You could also say if you're in wholeness, there's no one there to see. There's no me there, per se, to see anything.
Everybody's invited to share. So if you'd like to join in, go ahead and unmute. Right? Because some of us have been seeking for 30, 40, 50 years. So what gives? Why have I not been? It seems like I've been successful, but then suddenly I'm not successful and I'm seeking again. Yeah, Nina, welcome.
Hello, good to be here.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
Nina. I'm Nina.
Nina, sorry about that,
No
Nina.
worries. No worries. Why is it so hard to see? Like, I just think it's hard to see until it's not. Like, and there's really no reason. It's just part of the quote unquote divine order of things. I don't know if there's an answer why.
Yeah.
It just is. We're just in a place where we there's a desire to seek, and there's fulfillment in it. People get fulfilled in seeking and then finding temporary stuff, and it fulfills them for a time. And for me, for here, the last 10 years, that desire for seeking, it was like I saw through it. Like I saw that nothing was going to bring me the fulfillment that I wanted, like in things.
Yeah.
So I became really kind of a recluse in a way. Like I just didn't feel like joining in certain activities anymore. I used to curl. I used to do lots of different things. And then it just dropped away. Like there was just no desire to do it anymore. So I think that initiates the seeing. The seeing that there really isn't anything that has true fulfillment in it. It's an illusion of fulfillment. And then everything drops out, it's kind of it feels like the world has betrayed me in a way. Because all these promises of happiness and accomplishments and this and that, and you see through all of those lies. But it's different than depression, because there's still for here, there's a sense of peace in it now, because I don't have to worry. There's no worrying about it, that there's no more desire to see. I used to worry about it a lot. And now I don't care. Like if somebody says, why don't you do this? Or why don't you do that? I'm like, because I don't want to. And there's no guilt either, or shame, or, yeah. I think it just comes natural. It just comes automatically. There's nobody, you can't make it happen faster. You can't slow it down. It just happens on its own. The process, the so-called process of seeing. And if you don't see, it's okay too. That's about it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, like Tony Parsons calls it empty fullness. Everything's full, but empty at the same time.
So
There's no time.
often you'll hear, you know, a thought comes, say, this is so challenging. I just don't feel like I'll ever get this. You know, like Nkosi, just somehow he gets it. I just sometimes I feel like I almost get it, and then I backslide. So the reason why you can't get this, and the reason why you'll never get this, is because there's already no one there to get anything. And so that's the word, and some of you who've been here before know my favorite word is already. Because already, if there's no you already,
Yeah, and I mean, what follows is that there is nothing gettable here. There just isn't. This is not a thing that's, what is not something gettable. Nobody's getting anything. The trees aren't getting anything. The stars aren't getting anything. The chair isn't getting anything. It's not a gettable thing here. But for a person, it's all about getting, because the person is already separated, and now I need to get. That's what separation is. And that's the experience of the person. But that isn't what this is. That isn't what's here. It's not a gettable. No, there's no gettability. Already means, it means there's no getting. And there's only already. There's never been anything but what already is. Wherever you go.
All right, I'm going to channel my inner Don.
Yeah, we got two Dons, but he's not. Yeah, there's no. Okay, go ahead, Al.
I'll pick up for him. So the person getting, or what you're saying is that it's not gettable. But if there's someone trying to get, that's this too, right?
Yes, I think so.
So we can say someone is trying to get or seek, and that could help, that could help them in their person to get to, let's say, a happier place. And that's this too. Because everything is this, right?
Yeah, you're responding to me, so I'll respond back. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I would totally. Yeah, absolutely. It includes everything. So all the stories, all the experiences of getting, all the stories of getting is what it is. Yeah.
Thank you, Master Dan.
Thank you, Master Alan.
Don,
We got a thumbs up from Don.
We got 2 Dons, which neither have their camera on, but we have a thumbs up. But I don't know if
I
they'll,
do.
yeah, I don't know if they'll see that on the video. All right.
No, yeah, it's on the video. I think they will. Yeah, I mean, most of what shows up seems to be a story of getting in some way, you know? So it'd be a shame if that wasn't it. That was like somehow not it. It would kind of exclude like 99.9% of it, of everything, or maybe 100%. I don't know. Because the story is always a story of duality, you know? And not. But it doesn't make sense.
And so just to be clear, it's not that there's a me there and that it slowly thins out and eventually it merges with the infinite. No. At least at this meeting, what's being shared is there never was a separate me in the first place. So there's nothing there to actually get rid of.
It's not that the separate me thins out, or is whatever Michael just said. Yes, because it's not that anything, any story that we would tell is not it. It just isn't a story. So, I mean, the me being here and then thinning out and you know what, I don't know. Well, what happens then? I mean, it's a good story, and of course, but none of the stories are here. They're not. This is not a story. This what is. So and also it is, because like as I was just saying, you know what, there's a story here. There's a story of a video, a Zoom meeting, you know. Oh, we lost one of our Dons. Where's Don? We need to send a search party. I hope he's okay. Yeah. I mean, there's a story of 9 people or 8 people in a telephone logo. Stories go on and on and on. In a way, all we have is stories, but the stories are all empty. They're not, there's nothing to any of this, because what is not something that we can know or have or get or anything. It's already here, already it. It's being,
Larry, can you hear me?
hey, Larry.
What's good? What's good?
I think he said it all.
Go ahead.
No, I was just starting to say that in a way, it's like what is being us. You know, you could say that it's just an image and it's another story, but it's being all of this stuff. But how can you know it? Who is there right here to know it? If there's just what is doing what it does as all of these stories, all of these, I don't know even what it is. What does that even mean? All of these. I mean, how many of these are there? This, what is this even? We put it in terms of different stories, but
It's such a trip.
yeah. Yeah, but still it's people meeting on a Zoom too, Yeah.
And the topic brought us together. Like it was the topic, right? Because other topics, other people go to different topics, like what they're interested in. The thing is, it doesn't matter what the topic is.
Right.
They're all equal. Even this topic is equal to another topic where people are talking about politics or whatever. It's all this appearing as a multitude of topics. So
Yeah.
how is one better than the other? Except it's more pleasurable to maybe, right? Just feels more pleasurable. Like I like to talk about non-duality. Like there's a moving towards that, and then other topics, it's like not so much. It's like, and yet there's nobody there to who's deciding that. Yeah. It's freeing. It's
There's nobody, because if there was somebody, then there would be a boundary where that somebody stopped and then everything else continued on. Like there's, but where's the boundary? There's no boundary here. All right. The boundary is a convention. It's somebody said before, a habit. I think Peter has talked about a habit. That boundary where I end, me, I'm this thing, and then there's life, there's the what is, but that boundary isn't anywhere. There isn't any. It's a big,
And that's a tough one to get then, the boundary. I was thinking we consider the skin the boundary between me and the outside world, and so on and so forth. And I totally get what is being talked about, and yet, yeah, very often I look at the world and I consider what's inside this boundary is me. I mean, it's definitely a tough habit to kick. If it, but again, then we're getting to the point where does it have to be kicked? And like the ambition and intention of that me that was already not here to begin with, and all that. Or Alan's wanting to feel better, if there is no boundary and we feel better, even though there never was a boundary to begin with.
a boundary is a knower. It's, you need two things for a boundary.
Yeah, you need to make a distinction between two things, yeah.
And that knower, is it inside the boundary or outside the boundary? I mean, how does the knower know the boundary, right? What even is a boundary? You know, where's that knower with all of this?
Yeah, so here, the knower may feel to be there until it's looked for. Until you look for the one that knows, you can never find. So the knower doesn't actually exist. It's imagined.
Yeah.
And even the imagining of the knower is imagined. Well, you know, it's all imagined. You can't find anything that isn't imagined. Which goes back to the question that we started with, which is why can't this be seen? Because you can't find it, because everything here is imagined. It really is all produced by some kind of thing that we call imagination. Who knows what that is? But it can't be found. What this is can't be found. So how could you see it? But yet here it is. That's why we say obvious. Peter, that's your cue.
Right.
Effortless and obvious.
Exactly.
And no one to do an effort, because that effort is imagined.
Oh, sorry. I have a question about if there's any therapies or techniques that will help to bring a noticing of this into view, into clarity, like meditation versus, you know, going on holidays to distract yourself. Or
Yeah.
when somebody's bored, like do you do something? Like, I know the person will do something,
Uh-huh.
and that's just what's happening.
Yeah, well, you said it perfectly when you first got here. It doesn't matter because there's not a me there, right? In the first place. So you said it beautifully. Whether you play tennis, stand on your head, do yoga, you know, take drugs, race cars, love movies, it doesn't matter because it's all this.
All this. So then it's about, so then what's the me's purpose but to just enjoy this life, like to enjoy existing in its meanness. And does the me, do we actually want the me to go away? Or, you know what I mean? Like that contraction, that identity, is that what we really want?
Well, there's no we to want
Right, right.
or not. There's just what's happening.
There's just wanting and nobody's doing that.
Exactly.
So just to notice it. That's all that's happening is the noticing.
Yeah. And no one's doing it.
Right. Yeah, there's a sense of relief with that. If there's anger, there's no guilt about it either now. Like I used to have such guilt about anger, like fear about anger.
Yeah.
Oh, the fear.
Yeah.
My anger, other people's anger, just anger in general. It would like literally give me a panic attack.
No, Nina, I know just what you're talking about. It's doubly bad for the spiritual aspirant, right? Because not only do you get, angry and lose your cool, but then you feel guilty because you're supposed to be spiritual, and spiritual people don't get angry.
Yeah, it's such a conditioned
That's bullshit.
way. Yeah.
It's bullshit, all of it. It's not.
So anything can arise, and just to notice that it's not arising for anyone, from anyone. It has no purpose except just for it to rise.
Well, start here. So start right here in this moment without going to concepts, because that's often I remember you just get lost in concepts and concepts. So here we're just going to start. What is here now that's not a story?
Right. It feels empty.
Mm-hmm. Spacious.
And it feels like true acceptance. I don't know. It just feels like acceptance.
Mm-hmm. Peace.
Like a non-judgment.
Unity.
Yay.
The word doesn't matter, so pick your favorite word.
I think for me, it's like a belonging feeling, like a wholeness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some describe it as like being home. I think Jim Newman says that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when all the attention goes to thought after thought after thought, the silence that's always here, it just somehow gets ignored. Like the peace and the silence that we're actually searching for is already here, but the conditioning, as you said, Nina, kind of captures our imagination and off we go.
And it's perceived as fun in a way. I don't know. There's a sense of attraction to it, like drama and.
Dan was just saying this. Dan, weren't you just saying that there's an interest by the me in this?
Yeah, I think I was.
It's like, what's next? What's next?
Right. The me is like an addiction to next or looking for next. It's just what energy of, yeah, but what about the next thing? This other thing, it could be.
I experienced that as restlessness.
Yeah.
And if there's no problem in that, if we see it as no problem,
Yeah,
that then we've
unfortunately,
broken through that energy.
no, but
that
Nina,
contract-
that's the rub. The me can't not see it as a problem.
Right.
It's always going to be something. You ever notice? There's never a lack of for problems for the me.
Yeah.
It's endless. So there can be a giving up or an exhaustion, and it's not for anybody, but there can still be a giving up and an exhaustion. And that seems to be what happened here. It wasn't like I didn't try to seek. I did everything. I did everything I could get my paws on, NLP, Muji, Course in Miracles, Eckhart Tolle, Advaita
Yeah.
Vedanta, Buddhism, Zen, all of it intently for most of my life. And I completely was unsuccessful. None of it worked. So I just gave up because I realized I didn't know. Like I truly didn't know.
So that was successful then, that you couldn't find what you were looking for.
Right, but you know it when you're seeking, it doesn't feel that way. It's discouraging.
Yeah, no, it's very,
Yeah.
doesn't feel good.
Right, but it's so resilient that it'll just shift gears and try a different modality. So someone else, maybe that's charismatic, will come along and look super happy. So I'll, watch their videos and go, okay, that guy's got it because look how happy he looks. But it turned out it was all a red herring, all of it.
Yeah. Good to know. But who's knowing?
Well,
Yeah,
that's the beauty of it. Sorry, Peter. I was just going to say that's the beauty of it, that there isn't anyone to know. And yet here we are, as you say. Go ahead, Peter.
no, I was just gonna add like the other pole of the other side of restlessness is boredom. Like if there isn't something to chase, then the me is bored.
But what happens when the boredom you can't get rid of it? Like it's just relentlessly bored all the time. Like eventually that me, it exhausts itself out, or the mind exhausts itself because it's just done. It's like done. There's nothing left. And then it's just this complete, like empty void, nothing. And it feels like the end of the world or something. It's like it's over, but you're still alive. You're like, oh, I'm not dead, but there's nothing.
Yeah. The lightness is all that fucking knowledge, all that knowledge that you thought you knew. And I'm a human being. I'm a man. I'm a woman. I'm a good student. I'm a bad student. All of the labels, those suddenly don't apply. You just can't even figure out what label is you because it keeps changing. One minute you could be happy, when you could be sad. So you begin to realize, oh, no label is actually permanent.
Correct. And then you can be any label. It's freedom.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. Because it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. It's like, it includes none of it and all of it all at once.
Yeah. And so for me, though, I don't want the bad labels. So depression, gotta go. Boredom, gotta go. Negativity, gotta go. But this message is all inclusive. It's saying all is this. It's not saying just the good stuff is this.
Right. That's it feels liberating because all my life, there was always this this rule of like trying to be good and cover up the bad, cover up the negative, like, but for whom are we doing this?
Well, that's what normally doesn't get investigated.
Mhm.
So if I'm in a bad mood, I just assume I'm in a bad mood, that there's a me here who happens to be in a bad mood. It's generally never gone into and actually looked for to find that one.
Yeah. And there's a belief, which is the belief in a me, right? Is the core belief. And is like the root belief is the me belief, right?
Yeah, that feeling of separation.
Right. But then there's stories of, you know, people saying everything kind of just fell away or become all fluid and things weren't solid anymore. And I'm just like, wow, that's great experience. But that's still, what is that? Is that non-duality appearing as an experience of non-duality? I don't know what it is. Like when everything just vanishes. I don't know. I've just heard so many stories about it. But then it comes back. People come back to duality and go, oh, it only lasted 2 weeks, or it lasted, like, all these stories.
Mm-hmm.
And then the me goes, oh, I want that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
because
want to have an experience.
yeah, Nina, because the me thinks again that it knows something. So it's already starting that I know that I know that I'm separate. And so the seeking is very natural for it. But what we're pointing at here is that one is already, there is no you already. There's just this.
Right. Right. So there's nobody having experiences.
And there is nothing to know. The me constantly wants to know, and there isn't anything to know.
Right. It is like a dog chasing its tail, trying to know.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day comes and we do it all over again. And then I say to myself, I'm not going to do that anymore. So funny.
And then you find out why you're not going to do it anymore, and so on and so forth.
It's just around and around. Yeah.
Hi, Nkosi, welcome.
Hi, Micah.
Hi,
Hi, everyone.
Nkosi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Nkosi, I was wondering, what can nothing become?
It cannot even become. There's no becoming of nothing. There's already nothing. So I would say it is just what's happening. And what's happening is already nothing happening. It can never be known. It can never be understood. It can never be gotten. Because there is already nobody here to get anything. It's just nothing being everything. So there can never be anybody outside of everything to know everything and get it. It's just everything. Everything or nothing doesn't matter. Words don't matter to this. This is wordless. It's already here even before any word may be spoken. It's already here even before any seeking may arise. Yet what seems to be seeking is already it's appearing as that. What seems to be the word that might be spoken is already everything or nothing appearing as that. So there is already everything. It doesn't matter, anything may arise here, a question may arise, an argument may arise, a sound might be heard here, explosion may happen. It doesn't matter. All is this already. There's no separation. There's already nothing outside of all is this to know about all is this. This just, it's already totality. It's already whole and complete. Even when it seems as if there's an insatisfaction that may seem to appear, no, it's already whole and complete. It's already wholeness appearing, not to be satisfied. It's already wholeness appearing, not to get it. It's already wholeness appearing to get it. Taking a decision, playing a devil's advocate, blinking, sitting on the chair, going to the loo, giving up, swearing,
Yeah.
cars hooting, people walking up and down in the streets, buildings, mountains, animals, everything. It's already everything. So anything may happen here and anything may arise, but it's not separate. There's no separation. It's just this, which is nothing, appearing as that. Asking question, giving an answer, not getting it, getting it. Sharing an opinion, having a discussion. No, it's already everything. And there's nobody to know everything. It's just everything. So there's no escape. And this right here doesn't know anything. It doesn't claim to possess any great knowledge about the world and the universe. There's nobody here to know anything. It's just talking happening. And this message, which is not even a message, is not directed to anybody. It's just this boundless energy that's appearing as everything, even this talking happening right now, even this listening happening right now. There's just listening, but there's no listener. There's just talking, but there's no talker. So everything is beautiful for nobody.
Hmm.
And this is not trying to convince anybody. And this right here is not looking for somebody to find it. Because there's no separation. It's everything. Who can be outside of everything? What can be outside of everything? To know everything and get everything. It's already whole and complete. There's already nowhere to get to. There's already nothing to find. There's already nobody to find anything. The finder or the seeker who's separate from this is already not there. There's no real seeker. There's no real separate self. There's just this, which is totality appearing as that. It appears to ask questions. It appears to see. It appears to look for itself. Yet, when it is recognized that when it is seen that there is no separate self, it is also seen that it's never even existed. It wasn't there in the first place. It was just already everything appearing as a separate self. So there's no real separate self. It was just an imagination. So there's just this, which is everything. It can never be known. It can never be understood. It can never be gotten because it's everything already. It's whole. It's spaciousness. It's everywhere present. Yet it is wordless. Ah, yeah, that's what comes up here.
Hmm. Hmm. It feels like a new drug or something. Feels so good.
Feels very light.
Yes. It's so pure and
Playful.
mm,
The drug is called What Is,
yes, it's the best.
what already is.
It already is. Hmm.
It is funny. It's like me is looking for permission to be what I am, what I already am, what I just am. But looking for that. Yeah.
Because the me is uncertain, right? Like it's always doubting and uncertain.
The me thinks something is missing. It's not quite it yet. If only.
The me is always on its way to becoming.
But there's no certain or uncertain. There isn't any certain or uncertain. There's just this.
Yeah, the me is always looking to define a thing or, you know. But there isn't anything to define.
And there is no me already. Good news
For me already.
for nobody.
So there's yeah, so no separation. Mm.
But somehow the me that's not there already, I find to be useful in life, in knowing what time to switch on the Zoom call or how to drive a car or something like that.
Yeah, it's not the me exactly. It's already everything doing that. It's already totality. So the story is beautiful. The story is already okay. That which seems to be looking, to be searching, is already everything searching, appearing as limited searching. So there's no real separation. There is no real separate self who can search, who can do anything. There's only everything. Appearing as thinking, wondering, searching. I am a body thought. I am this body thought is already everything appearing as that.
Faith, I think you could say that the me is useful. Just like those, this laptop is useful to be in a Zoom meeting. So the me is useful to have a story of me. But the story of me is not useful. The story of me is just the story of life, the story of what's going on. Yeah. Well, the me is useful for all of that. It's part of the story. But the story isn't useful. The story for this isn't a story. This doesn't need a use. What is doesn't have a use or doesn't need anything to be used. There's nothing to get from the me or the story or any of this. It's just what it is, showing up as it does, as who knows. Anyway.
Yeah, and it doesn't mind. It doesn't mind the story. It doesn't mind what seems to be the me, because it's already this expressing as that. So it doesn't mind itself, I would say. Everything is it already.
And no one knows what it is.
Exactly. There's no one here already who knows.
Yeah, as Nkosi often says, a thought arising of knowledge, right? A thought arising with knowledge, a bundle of knowledge, is not an evidence. There's a separate somebody there.
Yeah, so it sort of reminded me of being no free will.
Well, you could say there's no one to already have a free will or not a free will. There's just what's happening.
Mm.
Any last comments or questions before we close out this evening?
I'd say it knows what it is. It knows what it is.
Mm.
So I'll leave you with this. What can what's not know? What can what's not know?
Say that one more time, please.
What can what's not know?
Hmm.
Good. Thanks for the laugh. But
It took a moment.
sometimes, go ahead, Peter.
No, I was gonna say, I had to also run it by a few times, but it's great.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Nkosi. Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming. Have a great evening.
Everyone.
Thanks.
I
Bye, everyone.
All right.